Hello, Tiger Sport fans, and welcome to another episode of Tiger Sports Nation. I'm Haley Menendez.
And I'm Francisco Villa. A lot went down this past weekend in DePauw sports, but first, TSN's own Joey Webster managed to sit down with Grace Smith of the women's softball team to get a behind-the-scenes look at the team.
Hi, I'm Joey Webster, here with Grace Smith, a senior on the DePauw softball team. Grace, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Joey.
I'll just start off with asking how you think the team looks this year.
I think the team looks good. We've got a lot of the returners and some new freshmen coming in. We do miss the 4 seniors that we had with Becca and Ojax and Kaylin and Skylar, but it should be another good year this year, so I'm excited.
Awesome. I know you guys had a pretty good year last year, good run in the tournament. Started the year this year ranked number 1, I believe. Was there like a lot of pressure that came with that, or like how you guys dealt with that?
Yeah, so it's always like, the rankings are great to get the respect from other teams that put us at that number, but it is just a number. It's preseason. It doesn't really mean anything. So we were honored, but we try not to focus on it too much because it just puts a big target on our backs, and so every team we play, we're going to get their best team. So
Yeah, for sure. I get that a little bit. Kind of going off that, what would you say you guys have, like what are some goals you guys have both for you personally and as a team?
As a team, especially the senior class, I know that we have not lost any conference games before, so we want to finish that out as a senior class to go undefeated in conference. As a team, obviously, we want to go back to the national championship. We want to win a natty. We want to go all the way, which is just going to be game by game, each inning by inning. And personally, it's my senior year, so I wouldn't mind finishing up pretty strong, both defensively and offensively. And honestly, the big thing is just being like the best leader that I can and the best teammate I can, because it is my last year, and I want to be able to pass down the legacy that's been passed down to me. So.
Yeah, for sure. You guys we're going into spring break here next week. How would you say you feel about the way the team's performed so far, and how are you looking going into the spring break trip?
Yeah, so like I said, we started out with a lot of competition the past 3 weekends. So this last weekend we ended up sweeping and winning 4 games. So that's a good taste right now, and I think the team's really coming together these past few games. So it should be really exciting to go out. We're going to California, so I'm excited to have some good time with my teammates and play some good competition out there.
Nice. And then the last thing I was going to ask is how you think the conference looks this year relative to other years since you've been here.
I'm not totally sure. We haven't been able to really play any conference games yet. Here soon we will. But conference has always got a lot of good competition throughout my 4 years here. So you can never take any of those teams lightly. Just like any team in general, you can never take them lightly. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Grace, for taking some time to talk to us about the team and offering an inside look at softball here at DePauw.
We had another busy weekend in DePauw sports despite some cancellations.
For instance, the softball team had a big weekend playing 4 games over 2 days in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. They started off the weekend against Wartburg, winning 10-2, and they followed up with another win against Trine, a score of 3-1. The next day, DePauw kept their winning ways, defeating WashU 6-2 and Spalding 8-7. Congrats on the winning weekends, ladies.
The men's and women's tennis teams were both in action this weekend as they played Oberlin. The men's team won 6-3, while the women's team fell by a score of 9-0. They went away to John Carroll University, where both teams managed to pull out a win, with the women's team winning 6-3 and the men's winning 8-1.
The men's and women's outdoor track field teams both participated in the Early Bird Invitational at Rose-Hulman this weekend, with the men's team finishing 2nd out of 7 and the women's finishing 1st out of 8 teams.
The baseball team's Saturday games were all called off, but they took the field Sunday against Franklin University, where they lost a tight first game by a score of 16-14, but managed to bounce back in the second game and win by an impressive score of 11-2. On Monday, they were back at it again, traveling to Rose-Hulman and beating the Fighting Engineers by a score of 10-5.
Then the men's lacrosse team was also in action this weekend, playing against Trine, where they unfortunately lost a close match by 7-5. Unlucky, guys. Keep your heads up.
Last but certainly not least, the women's golf team was down in Georgia to compete in the Jekyll Island Collegiate, where they finished 19th out of 24 teams. The women's golf team will be back in action on the 3rd and 4th of April at the WashU Spring Invitational at Crystal Springs Quarry in St. Louis.
That's all the time we have for this week's edition of Tiger Sports Nation. I'm Haley Menendez.
And I'm Francisco Villa, and as always,
Roll Tigs.